What in the actual? The Nintendo Entertainment System, released in 1986 in North America, quite literally took the world by storm when it was released.
Will you be the one to witness the birth of the incredible Nintendo Entertainment System? The one to play with Rob, the extraordinary video robot, batteries not included.
The NES was the start of nearly every major Nintendo franchise we know today, like Mario, The Legend of Zelda, and Metroid. This console single-handedly brought the video game industry back to life after the gaming crash of just a few years prior. I mean, what would you rather play? This? Or this? Yeah, so it's only fitting that we bring this baby back from the dead. But now it's time to get this open and see what the damage is. Oh, that's amazing. It sounds like a maraca.
Call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. When I play the maracas, I go chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom.
This has 4 out of the 6 screws missing. So I guess that's easier for me to get it open. So let's break out the toolkit. Don't look at me like that. I was just loosening up the dirt. So I guess a quick context. This apparently was in a flood. I don't really know what that means exactly, but I mean, come on. How bad could it actually be? Holy schnickleberries. This is actually amazing. Let's get a closer look. So how bad is this stuck on here? Yeah, this is like a poor man's concrete. Look, Mom, I finally made it. I'm an archaeologist now. And if I'm an archaeologist, I get to use some fancy tools. Oh no, is that rust? Maybe. Maybe not. That looks okay. Kinda. So, I'm going to get this all cleaned up, but it is a lot of work, so I'm going to put it on my other channel, my other restoration channel. I'll probably put a link. It'll be in one of these corners. I never know which one it is. But over there, I'll show the in-depth cleaning of this whole thing and a whole restoration, kind of like an ASMR thing. I'll throw in a few clips of me cleaning it, but let's jump till after I cleaned it. So after a bit of cleaning, it doesn't look half bad given the circumstances. The NES contains a picture processing unit, or PPU, which is the large chip in the upper right corner, a CPU, which should be in the top left, but clearly is missing, and 2 RAM chips, a work RAM and a video RAM. On the other side, I noticed after cleaning that several through-hole pads are missing, which is good because if they didn't stick around after the cleaning, then we don't want them anyways. Oh, looks like one of them wanted to stick around. But I don't like things with regrets. So I don't need you anymore. And it looks like there are 3 traces that need to be restored here for this memory. Now the thing about the RAM is there are 2 different sizes, which you can see here. Luckily, I have hoarded several Nintendos, so I should have replacement chips that will fit. I've never tried to mix and match the 2 sizes of RAM before, but I think I have some in this size. So this one down here is the CPU, and I know that because I know that, and not because there is a C for CPU written on these chips because someone, stupid like me would ever forget. And it looks like I do have the larger RAM with even the same brand. Now it's very important to line up all these pins before pressing down. Make sure to use all the swear words you need until the chips fall right into place. It does help to take some needle nose pliers and flatten the pins together first. Time for the microscope, fume extractor, a little bit of flux, and of course the solder. So I don't want to be bothered to solder these one at a time, so I'm going to do what they call drag soldering. It's not as dirty as it sounds, I'm afraid. Remember, kids, do what I say, not what I do. Now let's just bridge these 3 traces with this enamel wire for the VRAM. Now let's give it a nice clean with some 99% IPA. So I was doing another look over the board and I did notice some sketchy traces over here. Well, it looks like they do connect, but I don't like the way they look. So the NES uses a 7805 voltage regulator to take the incoming mains voltage and step it down to 5 volts. Except a thief has stolen it, as well as the heatsink that goes with it. So I'm going to have to replace it and steal a heatsink from another parts NES. I will just place it in here, flat side flush, and screw it into the heatsink before we solder it into place. Now these consoles are over 30 years old, so it's a good practice to change all the capacitors, but again I can't be bothered with that, but I will always change out the main power capacitor. Just a little bit of solder wick, and it should just drop right out. Remember, always stay the same on the microfarads on the capacitor or the UF number, but the voltage can be different. As long as it's higher, it won't hurt anything. Finally, it's time for some reassembly, but anyone that knows an NES knows that it's missing a decent amount of parts. I had to steal the bottom shield, the tray for the game that presses down on the pins, and the 72 pin connector. Oh yeah, and the top shield. So I've looked over the board several more times to see if I could find anything. Everything looks good. Let's speed this back together and test it. Okay, let's hook this beauty up with some RCA cables. Give it some power. And I almost forgot a game to test. Of course, Mario 3. What am I even thinking? So now there's only one thing left to do. Let's hit the power button and see what happens. Yeah, let's go! Let's go! No way! Let's go! Yes! There's no way this actually works. Let's just do level 1 and see what happens. Well, there you have it. I guess you can bring a Nintendo back from the dead.
They call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of a rumba beat. When I play the maracas, I go chick chicky boom